Who's to blame? Washington's favorite question. Bob Dole says, just fix it.
It's putting the people first in front of the politics.
Running a small business, raising 3 kids, Dole knows we've got problems to solve.
More jobs are leaving. Uncertainty around retirement, cost of higher education. We need to make sure that there's a level playing field.
Bob Dole's plan? Job training for the unemployed. Improve mass transit. Make college more affordable.
Washington should be trying to make it easier for you.
I'm Bob Dole, and I approve this message.
500,000 people signed petitions to put term limits on the ballot. Illinois voters overwhelmingly support term limits. Democrats, Republicans, and independents. But Pat Quinn, Mike Madigan, and the Springfield crowd don't care what you think. They'll say or do anything to keep power. They let term limits get kicked off the ballot. But come November, it's our turn to kick them out of office.
Bruce Rauner for governor.
It's easy to spot the good guys. They put others first, defend us, and teach our kids. But these days in Washington, they finish last. Medicare, education, and veterans get cuts, but it's perks for politicians and tax breaks for CEOs. I'm Ann Callis. I approve this message. As the mom of a teacher and an Army Ranger, looking out for the good guys isn't just the right thing to do. For me, it's personal.
Morning, how are you? Good. Dick Durbin. What's your name?
Gene.
Hi, Gene. Good to see you. Off to work? How you doing, man?
So much for everything.
How you doing?
Oh, I can't complain.
Oh, I gotta say hi. How are you?
I was born and raised in East St. Louis, Illinois. My mother was an immigrant to this country from Lithuania. My father grew up on a farm. Southern Illinois, where my family's roots are, I love the folks down there. They're part of who I am. When I come up to Chicago, this city is so easy to fall in love with. It is a great city with so many great and diverse populations.
We're gonna pass it. Democrats and Republicans. I'm voting for it. You know I'm for it. Okay?
Put it back on the floor.
All right. Thank you. You bet.
He cares about us, the working class family.
He's a stand-up kind of a guy, and he'll tell you like it is.
He's never been afraid to speak his mind, to stand up for what's right.
That's why I stayed in politics, was because I saw that you could be down to earth and be a politician.
Can I say hello to you here? Senator Dick Durbin. How you doing? Going to school? Good man. I love it. It's in my blood. If you don't like people, you shouldn't be in this business.
The reason we're the great country that we are today is because we're a big family, and there are a lot of different people in our family. We come from different places, different religions, different cultures. When you bring them all together with a common purpose of making America a better place, you get the very best result. That's why we are an exceptional nation. My name is Dick Durbin. I'm the United States Senator from Illinois, and I'm honored to have this job.
Courage, independence, results. You don't often hear those words applied to a congressman anymore, but they fit Bob Dole to a T. Bob Dole has the courage and independence to buck his own party when he thinks it's wrong. Dole is pro-choice and supports sensible gun laws. And Dole's got a Main Street jobs agenda to help small businesses grow. Newspapers agree. Bob Dole for Congress. Independence USA PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Hello, my name is Jim Wozniak, Republican candidate for Illinois House of Representatives, District 71. I want to thank you for taking the time to learn more about me. The state of Illinois is in peril, and it's going to take new and bold leadership to challenge those that are endangering the businesses, people, and future of this state. I am up to that challenge. In the coming months, I hope to meet you personally, face to face, so that you can learn more about my vision for the state of Illinois. In the interim, I invite you to learn more about me by visiting my website at electwozniak.com or to personally email me questions at electjimwozniak@gmail.com. Together, you and I can return the state of Illinois and District 71 to the people. Thank you.
From Washington to Springfield, the typical politicians are failing us. Dishonest politicians like Mike Frerichs. Here's Frerichs in his very first ad.
In 2006, I ran for the state senate, where I led by example by cutting my own pay and ending free,
lifetime health care for legislators.
The problem? It's not true. Frerichs voted against ending lifetime health benefits and voted to increase his own pay. Twice. Now Frerichs expects us to believe this.
If you believe what we need is accountability, honesty, and ethics in the Treasurer's office, then I ask you to join this campaign.
Mike Frerichs, just another dishonest politician we can't trust, especially with our tax dollars.
The Oswego Ledger-Sentinel says Congressman Bill Foster has been missing in action on issues of key importance. So what exactly has Bill Foster been doing in Washington? Since he's been elected to Congress, the national debt has skyrocketed by more than $5 trillion. And despite a 7.5% unemployment rate in Illinois, Bill Foster voted to raise our taxes, even though in 2011, he didn't pay any taxes at all. And in his 3 terms in Congress, Bill Foster has only sponsored 37 bills, and only 1 was signed into law. When it comes to nothing getting done in Washington, D.C., Bill Foster is part of the problem. This November, Illinois can vote to make a change. Darlene Singer, a mom, a businesswoman, and a leader. The Chicago Tribune says Darlene Singer has a track record that inspires confidence. And the Chamber of Commerce named Darlene a champion of free enterprise. She fought to create jobs in her community and voted against wasteful spending in Springfield. When others ignored the problem, Darlene fought hard to reform Illinois' broken pension system and worked across the aisle to get it done. In Congress, Darlene will take on the tough issues facing our nation. Endorsed by the National Federation of Independent Business, Darlene will fight to lower taxes, end the runaway Washington spending, and create jobs for Illinois. Darlene Singer, the leader Illinois can trust to change Washington.
My name's Paul Schimpf, and I approve this message because Illinois needs an Attorney General who's a Marine, not a Madigan. Our state's at a tipping point. We all know that right now, our politics is just too important to leave to the career politicians and the insiders. I'm neither of those things. Until this campaign started, I was on active duty in the United States Marine Corps. I was an infantry officer. I was a prosecutor. I worked the Saddam Hussein trial in Baghdad. And once you've dealt with the ace of spades in Iraq, corruption in Illinois just doesn't seem so intimidating anymore. Our biggest threat in this state is government corruption, and if I'm elected Attorney General, fighting corruption is going to be my #1 priority. If that's what you want from an Attorney General's office, you need to trust me. You need to trust a retired Marine, not the Madigan machine, and vote Paul Schimpf for Illinois Attorney General. Thank you.
Back home and alive. It's all we ask for, but it's not all they deserve. As a judge, when I saw veterans in legal trouble, I created the state's first Veterans Court to help them get treatment and get back on their feet. In Washington, I'll always support military families and help veterans make the transition home, not just as your Congresswoman, but as a proud Army mom. I'm Ann Callis, and I approve this message.
For the first time in American history, the next generation is about to inherit a country worse than the generation before them. That's unacceptable. Families have to make decisions. They think for the long term. They make tough sacrifices. Washington doesn't sometimes look but 2 feet in front of its face. It's all short-sighted. We need people who are willing to give up the next election to do the right thing. I'm going to work hard every day to ensure that tomorrow when we wake up in a country even stronger than the one we sit in today. I'm Adam Kinzinger, and I approve this message.
What a room full of friends. This is a beautiful place to end up a wonderful day. Many of you worked with and remember my dad. He was a U.S. Senator, but got his start as a newspaper reporter, exposing corruption. He worked on the first Open Meetings Act that guaranteed public and press access to government meetings. So transparency is a part of my foundation.
Her dedication to public service spans her entire life, and she looks forward to continuing her work in public office. Now please welcome my friend Sheila Simon.
I served on the Illinois Reform Commission, and because of that commission and others, we now have the first limit on contributions in political campaigns in the state's history. But as Lieutenant Governor, I've held myself to an even higher standard. I don't accept contributions from state contractors, state employees, their spouses, and I don't take contributions from my own staff. It was my first order of business as Lieutenant Governor. It will be my first order of business as Comptroller. I want to shine a light on corruption and blow the whistle on waste and be the fiscal watchdog that we so desperately need. It's time we have a comptroller who provides not just accounting, but accountability. And because Illinois can't settle for less, I will be the most aggressive fiscal watchdog the state has ever seen.
Mike Bost keeps melting down in Springfield.
You should be ashamed of yourself! I'm sick of it!
Now Bost wants to be in Congress.
Enough! Feel like somebody trying to be released from Egypt. Let my people go!
He'd make Washington worse. The Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee is responsible for the content of this advertising.
We trusted State Representative Sue Scheer when she promised never to raise her taxpayer-funded salary. Scheer broke her promise. Scheer voted to raise her salary by thousands. That's right, thousands more for Scheer and pals like Chicago boss Mike Madigan. We get the bill. It's a disgrace. Tired of politicians voting themselves pay raises, Mike Bell will never raise his pay, and Mike supports term limits. Vote Mike Bell for State Representative.
I know these roads. Lived here my whole life. I know our people, our places, and our perseverance. I know our struggles and our successes. This is my home. This is where Christy and I are raising our 10 kids. It's where I started our family restaurant. I know firsthand how Washington makes it hard for families and workers, and I want to stop it. I'm Bobby Schilling, and I approve this message because I know we're all on this road together.
Our property taxes went up over $1,300.
$384.
Over $700.
More than $300.
We just can't afford them.
Under Pat Quinn, Illinois property taxes increased 30%. Today, they're the second highest property taxes in America. I'm Bruce Rauner. My plan is simple. No more excuses. Freeze property taxes and require voter approval for politicians to raise them.
Bruce Rauner, shake up Springfield, bring back Illinois.
Here's the thing. To me, being a Democrat means we can't let we the people turn into we the few. It means Tea Party obstruction has to stop. Being a Democrat means we should lower the tax burden on the middle class. It means we have to protect a woman's right to choose and every person's right to choose whom to marry. I'm Brad Schneider, and I approve this message because we're all in this together, accountable to each other. We can still accomplish great things.
Kate Clunan. Self-service, not public service. Clunan supports Pat Quinn, currently under investigation for breaking both federal and state law. Clunan voted herself a $3,100 pay raise, and her votes in Springfield led directly to millions in state contracts to her company. That's unethical. Clunan and Quinn, corruption and higher taxes. Vote no on Democrat Kate Clunan for state representative.
Hello, my name is Larry Kafish, and I'm running for the Illinois 8th Congressional seat. I'm a Marine colonel who recently left the Pentagon working for the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff in order to move back to Illinois and run and win this seat. To me, this seat is more than a seat, it's more than a campaign, and it's more than a race. It's about an opportunity to be in a place to help save America. For right now, America's on a path that is unsustainable. It bothers me to see the lack of leadership and the lack of accountability by this administration and many of the politicians in D.C. today. Let me make it clear, I am not running to be a politician. I'm running to be a leader, a problem solver, and a selfless servant to the constituents and the country. As a Marine infantry officer with over 23 years of service and over 5 combat tours to Iraq and Afghanistan, I've fought Al-Qaeda, I've fought the Taliban, and I'll tell you, they're a concern, but they're not our greatest concern. I agree with what Admiral Mullen said when he stated, the greatest threat to our national security is our national debt. And those today that are responsible for growing our debt are those here at home that are trying to fundamentally transform America by growing our government, raising our taxes, spending recklessly, and destroying an environment where our economy should and could be flourishing. America deserves better. We have too many politicians in D.C. today that are more interested in personal interests, special interests, party interests, all the while America and its citizens are left neglected and suffering. Please understand, I don't need anything. I spent the majority of my professional career in mud holes, eating bad food, and spending time with people that want to kill me. I simply have a love of country few will ever understand. I grew up in a bedroom that was red, white, and blue. I've always wanted to serve and have the majority of my life. I want to continue to serve to make sure America remains that shining city on the hill. Thomas Jefferson said, "The price for freedom is eternal vigilance." So I'm going to ask you, please, be vigilant with me. Individually, we're very limited. Together, we can make great things happen and save America in the process. Thank you for your time, thank you for your support, and thank you for your vigilance. Together, we'll make great things happen. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America. So, please, go to my website at www.kfishforcongress.com and sign up for our mailings, volunteer to support our efforts, and make a contribution that you're comfortable in making. Again, this is not just about the Illinois 8th. This is about saving America.
I've only been in Washington a year. I've really focused on trying to make sure we make government smarter and more responsive for working families so that we reflect the values and the issues that are important to us here at home. And that means that we have to invest in our economy.
She's going to do what's right and what she cares about.
Folks say that the economy is sort of rebounding, but all I see is working families are still struggling.
She's a leader, and she represents the values that the middle class exemplifies in America, which is fairness.
In Illinois, over 100,000 people have now lost their unemployment insurance.
She understands that good, hard-working people sometimes need a helping hand.
We have to extend unemployment insurance, and we have to invest in jobs.
Sammy does what she said she's going to do.
She stands up for what she believes in. It's about investing in the economy and making sure that we support folks here at home.
He's a Marine who served our country with honor, a firefighter who answered a community's call for help, a small business owner who created jobs, and a passionate legislator who called out corrupt Chicago politicians. That's Mike Vost, my husband of 34 years. Most importantly, he's a caring father and grandfather who leads by example. And I know he'll be a great congressman who listens to Southern Illinois.
I'm Mike Vost. I approve this message.
Bruce Rauner has 9 luxury homes worth millions of dollars. He even made $53 million in a single year. Yet billionaire Bruce Rauner wants to cut the minimum wage, taking more than $2,000 a year out of the pockets of low-paid workers who are barely making it. What kind of man would do that? Bruce Rauner. Millions for him. But how's that working out for you?
We've done over 500 funerals since I've been a member of the Honor Guard. I've seen so many flags. You could see through them like they're a piece of cheesecloth. You started seeing labels on them, made in China. I didn't fight for China. I fought for the USA. Sherry Bustos jumped right in there. She introduced a new bill to have the flags made in America. She got it done, and that meant so much to me.
I'm Sherry Bustos, and I approve this message because American flags should be made right here in America.
Sensible. From Northbrook to Waukegan, that's our style. But here, not so much. So our representative, Brad Schneider, voted to give Congress a common sense kick. If they didn't pass a budget, they wouldn't get paid. And during the Washington government shutdown, Brad Schneider said, "I will be returning my paycheck until Congress finds a sensible solution to this harmful shutdown." Couldn't Congress use a lot more sensible? Call and thank Brad Schneider for holding Congress accountable.
I'm Rodney Davis. As your congressman, I've had the honor of being part of a team that's working hard and getting results. Well, I'm of course talking about the football team I coach when I'm home every weekend. Go Tornadoes! As far as DC goes, the only thing they're good at is creating problems. I'm working to change that, to get things done for hardworking taxpayers and the next generation. I'm Rodney Davis, and I approve this message.
Ready to choose?
Yeah. Buck Dole supports the Tea Party?
Yeah.
And Medicare?
And Planned Parenthood?
Raising middle-class taxes?
Drilling for oil where we drink.
I don't like it.
Looks better in the can.
Sounds Republican.
So Republican.
Very Republican.
Not my cup of tea.
Nice. Paint over it quick.
I'm Brad Schneider, and I approve this message.
Carol Ammons is unethical. Ammons is denigrating the University of Illinois by claiming a degree from a phony overseas diploma mill. Ammons is using a local charity meant to help others for personal political gain. Carol Ammons even voted herself a 75% pay hike using our tax dollars. Worse, Ammons was even caught making false statements. Vote no on unethical Carol Ammons for state representative.
Less than a year ago, I was given an incredible privilege to represent the people of Central Illinois in the state Senate. In that time, I've held 20 town hall meetings, and I've had the opportunity to speak to so many different people. Small business owners and farmers, retirees and students, Democrats, Republicans, and independents from small towns and urban neighborhoods who all share the same basic concerns. That our schools aren't getting the funding they need for our children to succeed, that there are too few jobs, that our state's economy continues to leave us behind. They want their state to move forward again. In these 11 months I've been in office, I've challenged the system, working with my colleagues on both sides of the aisle to set a course for meaningful education reform for the first time in 15 years, so that our schools are treated fairly. I wrote bipartisan legislation to reform our state's economic development agency, to hold them accountable, and to ensure they focus on creating jobs where unemployment remains high. I haven't been in the state Senate very long, but I've worked every day to challenge Springfield, to make state government more accountable and efficient, to deliver reforms that protect taxpayers. We have a long way to go and more problems to solve. That's why I'm running for re-election. I want your ideas, I need your energy, and I would be humbled by your support.
now running for Senate. Grew up in Section 8, homeless to homeowner in 9 years. Can you relate? Fight for jobs and better opportunities so kids won't have to grow up like him straight out the gate. He never had much growing up and bounced from house to house, taken in by friends' parents, struggling no doubt. Now he has 2 daughters and a wife, married for 18 years, doing it right. Remember a Rotary slogan is a new era in Illinois, and you know it is. He believes a better economy helps people with jobs and careers for the future years. Went from having Christmas with nothing under the tree to a paid member of the NAACP. He's a Republican that believes in the home of the brave and the land of the free. In terms that mean better health care, better home values, education and schools.
I'm Glenn Nixon, and we are a family of first responders. My wife Lynn, crisis intervention. Monica, a medical social worker. And Josh, a firefighter. I've learned the difference firsthand between talking about crisis and facing one head on. Today, Illinois is in crisis because of politicians who taxed too much, spent too much, and cared too little. I will cut taxes, reduce the debt, and stop the excuses. Because when there's a crisis, I'll do what I've always done. Respond.
Glenn Nixon, a first responder for the people of Illinois.
Committed to our values, to fighting reckless spending and a government that's forgotten who they serve, to us. Dedicated to life, the Second Amendment, to ensuring each of us a shot at the American dream. That's Jim Oberweis. See, Jim's not afraid of a challenge. He took his financial services business from a small startup to managing over $1 billion in pension assets. He grew the family dairy from 1 store to 44 and 1,200 employees. And though some thought it too difficult, Jim's answering the call to serve again. No wonder the Daily Herald and Journal-Register endorsed Jim as our best chance to defeat Dick Durbin. The Register even called him humble. Pretty rare in politics. With so many folks struggling and disgusted with Washington, that humility, that tenacity, that hopeful vision, that's why we need Republican Jim Oberweis in the U.S. Senate.
I'm Jim Oberweis, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Oberweis for Senate.
My dad grew up on a small dairy farm outside of Penfield, Illinois. When my dad graduated from high school, he went to work at the local grain elevator and started driving a truck. My mom was a secretary at the University of Illinois. They wanted more for me. When I was accepted to Yale University, they worried we wouldn't be able to afford it. But with the help of student loans, Pell Grants, and part-time jobs, I was the first in my family to graduate from the university. And I came home with a desire to serve. I taught at my local high school and served as a volunteer firefighter in my hometown of Gifford, Illinois. I served on the Champaign County Board and then for 4 years as the Champaign County Auditor. In 2006, I ran for the state Senate, where I led by example by cutting my own pay. And as chair of the Senate Higher Education Committee, I've worked hard to make student loans more available and to improve community colleges. I think we can do so much better to make college a reality for every child. And now, my daughter's in preschool, and I want to ensure future generations like hers not only can afford college, but are ready for good, high-paying jobs of the future. If we make wise investments in our communities and our people, we will have a brighter future. And that's why I'm running for state treasurer.
I'm Rodney Davis. Growing up, I cleaned tables and washed dishes at my parents' restaurant. I saw how hard they worked to provide for our family. Today, I wonder how they'd make it. Failed policies from Washington are devastating small businesses, and Obamacare is the worst of them all. It's driving up costs, cutting hours, and hurting hardworking Americans. I'm Rodney Davis, and I approve this message because we need to repeal and replace Obamacare so we can get people back to work.
You know what I like about you, Bruce? You're tough. You'll attack the special interest. Bam! Hit him right in the mouth.
Well, you know, Coach, I've been thinking, maybe I've been too hard on those guys.
Okay, you're right. I don't know what I was thinking.
Yeah, stick to the game plan, Bruce. Stick to the game plan.
Bruce Rauner. Shake up Springfield. Bring back Illinois.
When I became governor, state government needed to be cut, just like my lawn. So I got to work. I cut state spending by $5 billion, cut over 2 million square feet of office space, closed 50 state properties, and we're selling 9 state airplanes. I suspended legislators' pay along with my own. We balanced the budget in a fiscally responsible way. I'm Pat Quinn. I'm working to fix the mess, and I'm not finished.
Listen to Congressman John Klein talk about Obamacare.
Obamacare is a continuing disaster. You had a tactic. You said, okay, we're going to let the government shut down. So we let the government shut down for 16 days under these conditions. If you defund it or you delay it all, we voted again and again.
For insurance executives, John Klein is music to their ears. Because if Congress repeals Obamacare, insurance companies would go back to charging whatever they want. Charging women more for health coverage. Denying coverage for pre-existing conditions. And even dropping coverage when you get sick. If John Klein got his way, 11 million Americans would lose their coverage. No wonder the insurance industry has given John Klein $430,000. I'm Mike Obermueller, and I approve this message because I'll work to fix Obamacare, and I'll never get played by the insurance industry.
Hi, I'm Gil Fulbright. The people that run my campaign, they've made this commercial, and I'm in it. This campaign, it's not about me. It's about crafting a version of me that'll appeal to you. A version that visits random work sites with paid actors pointing at things. A version of me that doesn't find old people loathsome or pointless. Has a conventionally attractive yet curiously still family. Listening to my constituents, legislating, these are things I don't do. What I do is spend about 70% of my time raising funds for re-election. I'd do anything to stay in office. My name's Gil Fulbright, but hell, I'll change my name to Phil Goldbright, or Bill Fulbright, or fill up my mouth with farts. These are the things that are important to me. And these are the fine people that finance my campaign. Now, in order to do these things, I have to stay in office. And to stay in office, I have to keep these guys happy. Now, if any of these things make these guys unhappy, well, my hands are tied. So come November, the choice is clear. Do you want another spineless mouthpiece for special interest and lobbyists? Or a spineless mouthpiece for special interest and lobbyists? I'm Philip, a mouth with farts, and I approve this message.